The Orpington Cricket Cast is sponsored by Chelsfield Electrical, the Chelsfield Pub, Cook and Matthews Sport, Gaztech, J&K Coach Tours, Langford Printers and Language Link UK Limited. Thank you very much for your continued support.
I want to be with a woman just like you. You're not from the only man who can love you like I can. Just let me be with the woman that I love. Baby girl, shine like a looking glass. Big serious girl, I want to get close to you.
Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the Orpington Cricket Cast. We're still in the process of selecting the new name, so keep sending them in. By this point, we may have selected it, so it might not mean anything, but we might change it. So keep sending them in anyway. Hosted, of course, again by myself, Big Mac, and Cube, Mr. Morrow, and we are delighted to join yet another special guest who, as usual, Jack will reel off some fantastic stats and info about them. So, Jack.
So we've got 4 years playing at West UC in Canberra, 3 years playing for Wanneroo in Perth, 2 years at Mosman CC in Sydney, 2008 the Orpington CC overseas. Spent 2 years as the batting coach for the Northern District. He's a level 3 Cricket Australia coach, and also spent some time at New South Wales as an emerging Blues coach in 2012. Currently running Lyon Cricket, which focuses on development of young cricketers. And I also believe you've just been invited to join Slow Coach, which is a new video exchanging platform for training. But we're delighted to have Brendan Lyon with us. How are you, Brendan?
I'm well, thanks, boys. Thank you very much for having me. Done your research there. It's been a long road in the game, and had a great season there with the Orpington lads back in the day. But plenty happening, and just trying to keep safe at the minute.
Good. So I know we've touched upon it briefly before, but it seems like you guys are a lot further along than what we are at the moment. So how's cricket going on over there at the moment? I suppose you probably wouldn't be playing too much anyway at the moment, would you?
I'm busier than ever, Jack. My kids, that's what they want. Where I am here, you can still get out a little bit, and you can do personal training or one-on-one, and I've got about 90 to 100 kids that I do one-on-one sessions with. So I've got some pretty sort of driven youngsters, boys and girls out here, and so we've been doing a lot of one-on-ones. I did 8 hours straight yesterday, so it's shoulders a bit sore, but get them out and about, and they're loving it. So it's a bit weird times, 5 months from the season, but the kids are flying.
Good to hear. So look, we want to focus as much on you as possible, but obviously we will talk about the success your brother has had as well, because I think it's pretty hard not to. But growing up playing cricket in the Lyon household, where did the love come from? Like how old were you when you started playing? Like, talk to us about the journey as a youngster.
I think like most kids, particularly out here, it starts in the backyard, and that's where Nathan and I played a lot together. Both our grandfathers played. My mum's father played till he was in his 60s, so that's not that usual in Australia. I know that happens a lot in England, but I guess back in the day that's what they did, but it doesn't happen here now very, very much. Our grandmother always scored, and it's been publicised that she used to hit us catches every afternoon in the backyard, so that's what she did with the tennis racket. And Nathan started we both started playing, and we sort of had similar sort of paths. We've moved around as far as obviously mine nowhere near his, but moved around Australia. I went to Perth, as you mentioned, after being at Orpington, and he went to Adelaide, but we were in Canberra before that together, and we're now back at his club is the club that I'm head coach of, ND's Northern District in Sydney here. So it's funny how it all sort of, obviously he's doing obviously a lot of other stuff, high end stuff around the world, but yeah, that's sort of where it all began.
Who was better as a youngster?
It's been, you'll often hear him say that I bowled leg spin, and yeah, there is a bit of mail around that yeah, I used to bowl it pretty well, and he often says that I was probably more driven than him, but again, I think that's sort of not everything with it. Where I sort of tell my kids now, I probably trained too hard and put too much emphasis on myself, whereas he's learnt he still trains hard, and he's probably one of the hardest trainers in that team at the minute. But he's always been able to, he's always been very naturally gifted at any sport really. But yeah, he probably, you'll hear him say he didn't, wasn't into it as much as me, but I think sometimes that can work against you. So, but yeah, he's been very lucky. Obviously followed through the come in a good time in Australian cricket, and yeah, he's jumped over every hurdle since. But been some pretty good teams too. But yeah, so to answer that question, obviously we're both pretty reasonable cricketers along the way. I probably found out I'm a better coach than player, but yeah, yeah.
Cool.
So, obviously, he's a lot better.
So when you started playing at sort of the first grade level, and how sort of old were you when you started playing that sort of level?
12 in our country town. Back then it was pretty. He just messaged me now actually. Getting a new pair of shoes. He is. We were 12. Yeah, he was about the same age. And yeah, it was a strong comp then. There was no internet, no Netflix. All the farmers, when they weren't playing footy in the winter, they'd play cricket. And yeah, we had some amazing, in our little town. I think obviously we saw it differently when we went up to the bigger cities. We played against better players, but there were some really, really strong players that taught us a lot when we were younger. And I think that's definitely, given us a grounding, starting young, playing all weekend. Some of my kids now find it a bit hard. A lot of them do play all weekend, but yeah, that was what we did back then. I'm sure you guys did too.
Yeah, cool. And then obviously, how different do you think cricket in Australia is, like playing wise? Obviously, we know the pitches are going to be quicker. We know they're going to be a bit more bouncier. Like how different from anyone watching this is cricket at that sort of level to what we experience over here?
Yeah, well, that's when I first arrived. The first night I was at Orpington. We went to the pub down the road, and I had a few orange juices, and that's what we did on a Friday before we played. And then I soon realised, I think the next game I got in at 6 a.m. So I got run out the first game. One of the 6 times I got run out was the first game there, and I soon realised that you boys don't always prepare the same as we do out here. Nobody really gets on the beers before the game here. You have to train twice a week, virtually, to be eligible to be picked. And training goes from, this year kids and guys are there from 4:30 till 7:30. It's pretty full on. We had a kid called Will Butterman this year come out, plays for Essex. He was our overseas this year, and another fellow called Will Trenoweth from down Brighton way, I think. And Will plays first in England, but so that he's sort of he was playing mainly 5s, 4s here, so he didn't really hard when there's one overseas. But yeah, it's pretty strong and pretty competitive, but it's just different. But we don't have the same culture as you guys. We don't have the bar right there. The weather's amazing all the time, so fielding takes a high priority. Yeah, I think when I was the batting coach, our overseas was Scott Borthwick, who played one test for England. Amazing player. But again, Scotty he got 100 in the grade comp here. But then he went back to England and became the leading first-class run scorer, or second behind Sangakkara. That's so incredible that he could, you'd think he would have got more runs out here, but he got a test match, and then went back and had some amazing form, I think, for Durham, and then down to Surrey, I believe.
Yeah.
But, so it's very different. We've had Stoneman out here this year, and I don't think Stoneman did that well. But obviously he's an exceptional player. It is what it is here, I suppose. But the good pitches do allow for some pretty damn good cricketers. Bell Drummond played out here this year. I think. Who does he play for? You guys, you know him? Bell Drummond?
Kent boy.
Yeah, he was out. Yeah, he was out. I'm not sure who he played for, but I know he was out.
He played for the Winners, Randwick, I think. He had a really good season. But
he's very attacking from all the times we've watched him down at Beckenham.
I haven't seen him, but I heard he did really well. Which is, as I said, not everybody comes over here and handles the pitches. Just like we don't go over to you guys and handle the swing that well.
What do you think's harder to bat against? Quick, short, fast bowling, or someone like Jimmy Anderson who can swing it both ways and round corners? What's harder to bat against from your point of view?
Oh, definitely swing bowling. It's that's what it's just been. As I said, over here, you prepare for fast bowling, particularly playing in Perth. But most people actually pitch it up over there because everyone plays the short ball very well. So, the fast bowling, I think once you've trained for it, obviously it's a bit of a rush to begin with. But, it's a lot more common over here than genuine swing bowlers. Again, the pitch is obviously a bit flatter and there isn't the overheads. The balls, they replicate the shield balls here and the like. And they've been chopping and changing with that, so they don't often swing for that long. And it's hot, so the swing bowlers don't tend to. The good ones obviously do really well, but generally that's where they turn to the pace bowlers, the real fast bowlers.
Do you think that's why bowlers like Paddy Cummins does so well, because he can do both? He can put it quite quickly up under your nose, or he can also move the ball when there's obviously green pitches, overcast conditions.
In saying that, they roll out very different pitches here for the Sheffield Shield and the Test cricket. But the Sheffield Shield, like, they don't have any crowds. They're like the 4-day games in England, So if the game finishes early, it's okay. Whereas the Test matches, obviously, there's too much on the line for it to finish early. So there's nothing green on it. They need it to go a certain amount of days. Obviously, in England, you can't control that. New Zealand's the same. The overheads, and also the massive stadiums here that they've got to fill out. And, there's just too much money on the line. So they need to have it flat. That's why they need it quick. That's why they need reverse swing out here. As much as I hate to say it, that's what it is. And it'll be interesting to see how Joffrey goes when he comes out here. If he can, if he's fit enough to keep going. He's obviously a freak and a real talent. But that's the key to it, because obviously Jimmy and Stewart, who have been incredible bowlers, they're probably just about 10 k's a bit slower out here. And they haven't had the success that probably they might next time round, with a good side. But Joffrey will be the interesting one to see how he goes.
I think Joffrey's a definite one. I don't think you'll have both Jimmy and Stewart playing in the same team, because I think they're too similar. I'd imagine you'd actually probably get Stewart playing over Jimmy Anderson in Australia, because he is slightly quicker and he attacks the stumps more. But you'd like to think someone like Ollie Stone that's coming through, who's pretty quick. I think is it Jamie Porter at Essex as well, Big Mac, who
testing my county cricket knowledge, of which I have none. Cheers, Jack.
But he gets the ball fairly quick. So there's some youngsters coming through that hopefully can challenge. Otherwise, it will end up being the exact same Test series which we just witnessed back in Australia, not the one in England, because that was But that was a bit tasty, that one.
Yeah.
So moving on, before we go on to Australia and your brother, I want to obviously talk about your overseas experience with Orpington. So you came over in 2008. You played 19 games, 16 league games and three friendlies, I believe it was. How was... and we are going back 12 years, but how was your experience coming over to Orpington?
Oh, it was amazing. I was just saying, I moved over. It was my first time. I'd been over to England before, but it was my first time living over there. Met up with Horse, first of all, and Neil Bradford, and then moved in with the great man Robbo, which was just, he welcomed me with open arms. Played, coached there. Didn't do very well. Fielded. I love my fielding, so I think I had an impact in the field. Got stumped down the leg side a bit, I remember. Got run out six or so times. I think I was the most in the league. Chris Watts will let you know. But yeah, had probably my best day out against a game I wasn't supposed to be playing. I got 90 odd. And we actually won that game against, I can't remember the name of them, but they were the champions of the, whatever, Cup champions or something. So Mike Gadding's son was actually in the team.
Yeah.
So that was one I actually did all right. Great experience. Terrific touring. Getting to meet different people, obviously learning a bit more about, cricket off the field, which I think obviously the English probably do better than anyone. And unfortunately, when I arrived, I'd hoped that there might be a bit of life in the pitch, and apparently they redid it the season after I left, and it was a bit better the next year. But yeah, it was sort of ragging from the first over, and keepers up to the stumps and stuff, which I wasn't too used to, and that caught me short a couple of times, I reckon. But great times. Obviously, the great man Pabs and Blossom, Rat, Pagey, all the boys, Gunter, Matty Naylor. I don't know if any of these boys are still around. Cheds and
all still there somehow.
Yes. No, it was Yammer and Dokes and all the boys. It was a really good time. Actually returned with my own tour. I've taken 2 tours over to the UK in the last couple of years, and I ended up, I rocked up to this ground. I thought I've actually played here before. And my guys got to play on a game, on a ground out at, I can't remember the name of it, but down in Kent there, which was beautiful. So it was nice to return. And I actually ran into a couple of the boys at the fan zone in the World Cup there the other last year. Dusty, Benny Clarkson, and the great man Robbo. So that was good. That was a great day out to randomly run into those boys in the middle of London. But, need to do a bit more of it.
So it seems like everyone comes on and picks up Pablo. Doesn't seem like there's a player that doesn't? Everyone seems to like Pablo. So you mentioned, did you go on tour then when you were over here then?
We went on tour to Bournemouth.
Yep. You went on the Bournemouth 08. Is that the one?
Was that the rain one?
Yep. Rain the whole time. Played about 3 games. Spent a lot of time in the pub. Good fun. Had the room with Yammer.
Oh.
So that was interesting. But no, it was good. It was good fun. Great man, Yammer.
Good. So obviously we've gone from the overseas. We've spoken about some of the cricket that you've played. When did you decide that you wanted to become a coach?
So I finished. We won the competition in the 3rd grade here. The last year I played. So you mentioned there that I captain coach one of the Mossmen, and then I left there and became the batting coach. But I also played one season until we won the comp up there in the 3rd, which was amazing. It was at the time in my life when it started a bit later. It was almost English starting times. I was getting a bit older, so it was awesome to start at midday, whereas here normally you've got to be there at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, warm up for an hour on all day, 2-day cricket. If you're playing the high grade stuff, 2-day cricket, 1-day cricket, it's very different. Your whole weekend can be gone. So it was really refreshing to play in the threes. There's a lot of really good players, guys that have been older. And yeah, we won the comp in that. And then I've got a daughter now, she's 6. So that's about when I stopped playing. I just couldn't, my partner, she's from England and we don't have any family here. My parents are out in the country. So yeah, I stopped, and when I started coaching and I started school holiday camps and privates with all the kids I work with. And yeah, it's just sort of gone from there. I work at schools, a couple of big private schools here, and get to coach with some amazing people. Did my level 3. Got to hang out with Chris Rogers and Mike Hussey for a week in Hong Kong, which was insane. But awesome experience. And yeah, that's sort of where it's gone, guys. Like just coaching all the time now, and yeah, I work pretty hard, but I love it. And yeah, I must admit, even at the minute it's a bit quieter, but I get a bit more family time, which is nice as well. So
cool. Yeah. So when you came to Orpington, going back slightly, did you do a lot of coaching at that age, or was it mainly focused all on playing?
I coached a few kids there. A few of the young guys I remember there. I can't remember all their names now, but a few of the boys. You guys, were you in that? You might have been.
Yeah, this is what I was going to say. So I can remember I was under 11 at that time. I was in my final year at under 11. So my memory of you would have been coaching. I think you only took 1 or 2 sessions. I don't think it was a lot. I think you might have focused more on the older guys, but you came down and oversaw it. We had with Tubby, Neil Markell.
That's right.
So, I remember that quite clearly. So, and did you any coaching, Big Mac, or would you?
I may have done. I would have been what, under 13s when you were 11, maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe older. I don't know. Depends how much older I am than you. 3 years, maybe even the one above that. Probably. My cult career was not the pinnacle of my Orpington career, so I've repressed a lot of memories of that. But I'm sure I would have experienced a little bit of Lyon coaching, which would have been nice.
Were you boys playing with Pagey then, or were you too young?
Pagey's old. Pagey's old.
Tom Grover would have been your age group, Big Mac, wasn't he, or is he older?
No, he's 2 above. I played for that age group once or twice, I think. He was my age, yes. Alex was mine. He's left. I've not mentioned that this episode yet. I've mentioned it now.
6 episodes on the trot. We've got Alex Gray and
Georgie Smith.
Yeah. George and Sam Clarkson.
Oh, yes. Sam, Sam's been out in Australia. I had a fair bit to do with Sam. Sam played with us when I was there. He was a young gun then. So, yeah, there was a lot of... But yeah, no, I know my coaching's taken off, obviously, since then. As I said, when I was in Perth, I remodeled my whole game. So my batting coaching is pretty bit different, but it's sort of the West Australian sort of way. But there's been some pretty good West Australian players. So yeah, it's been quite cool to be able to coach. It's pretty similar to sort of a Mike Hussey sort of technique. So that's what I work with now, and yeah, so it's really, a really good thing to be able to do back.
While we're on the coaching side of things, there's a photo that I have seen on Instagram, which is of the Australian team warming up at Old Trafford. And more specifically, I think the description is brother/coach Brendan with Nathan, and Nathan can't keep a smile off his face. So how amazing has it been to be able to go and watch your brother play around the world and ultimately become the greatest Australian off-spinner of all time? The GOAT, as he is known as.
Yeah, so there's you know, a lot of people that don't like him as well, but I think he plays the game in the right spirit, and that sort of started from where we learn it. And yeah, mate, it's just amazing. Not all, you know, beer and Skittles though. There's a lot of, you know, it's been a roller coaster. Obviously, you know, Leeds dropping the ball. So you're talking about Old Trafford. Well, I was at Leeds as well, and I just about had the best 3 nights the nights before that. I'd spent the first night I had a few beers with Michael Vaughan and Alistair Cook, which just ended up awesome. Like, that was just those absolute legends of the game. The next night was Stark and Elisa Healy, you know, who were good mates of Nathan's, and the third night Troy Cooley. I was pretty good at things, and Michael Vaughan even said, you know, Australia had, you know, they got it. That was the night before Stokes did what he did, but and I sort of said, how can you say that? You know, like, but anyway, yeah. That's the first. You saw that photo. That's the first time I've ever done that, and that's only because I am now his batting coach. I go and hit with him, and I've been lucky to do a little bit with Pat Cummins on a bit of his stuff, and Sean Abbott, and just things have opened up. I'm hoping to get a few of the others. I'm trying to tee up with Big Joshy Hazelwood. I'm only work with the bowlers. Just trying to help them out. Nathan's my stuff's pretty simple, but Nathan really buys into it now, and yeah, we have to go on the team bus for training. I had abuse hurled at the bus all the way there, and then yeah, it was amazing. Got to have lunch up in the. I was up in the change room. It was only an optional, so not all the Australian players were there, but some of the English players were having lunch in the same room, and a lot of the New South Wales boys, Nathan and that, are good mates with Bayless. There was a bit of banter there, and with Collingwood, and yeah, then we got to go out on the ground, and yeah, I sort of did a bit of catching to that. And I travelled up 7 hours on the train from my partner's parents lived down south near Bournemouth, and yeah, I'd travelled 7 hours, and then Nathan said, I don't think I ever hit. I'm like, you're kidding me. And so we did. He'd been back pretty odd. Joffre had his measure, and the last couple of tests, we did a few underarms, and I threw at him, and he actually batted really well the last couple of tests, which was handy. So yeah, as I said, it's amazing. There's been some real highs, been some lows where, you know, you're trying to pick up the pieces, but yeah, I haven't seen him all around the world though. I've seen him in New Zealand. First time I went to England, he got dropped for Agar, so I didn't see that. So this is actually the first time I've seen him play in England with the Leeds test. So, but yeah,
Agar didn't do too badly when on debut from memory, but just not with the ball. It was more with the bat, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think he was a bit stiff. You know, he probably could have got a couple more wickets too. But he's a terrific young cricketer, but it just didn't really make a whole lot of sense. I know Graham Swan couldn't believe it that Nathan had been left out. He said that to Nathan himself. But anyway, he's bounced back, and I don't think he hasn't missed a test since then. He'd been dropped months before that in India. But yeah, he's played consecutive tests since then. So yeah, it's been a pretty cool ride to do that for 10 years. You know, you see a lot of the greats. If he plays this summer, hopefully there's crowds, because if he plays and he's fit, he'll play his 100th test in Sydney, which is our home. So there's a lot of it in Melbourne or Sydney, potentially against Virat and the boys if they're allowed in.
There's no love lost between him and Virat, is there?
No, obviously Virat's an amazing player, but sort of all about Virat. You know, he's very hard to, you know, just what they say goes, you know. So it's even sweeter when Australia or England beat them, I reckon. So anyway, we'll see what happens.
So I have a very indulgent question. It's all based around the nickname of GOAT, because you may not be aware, but there is another GOAT, which explains the shirt I'm wearing. I don't want you to think I'm not dressed up for the occasion. This shirt has not been worn in about 2 years, I think, hence the creasing. But a couple of years ago, I overtook someone, my father, to become the 4th team top wicket taker. And Adam Page, you know him very well, had some merchandise made. So I don't know if there is any Nathan Lyon GOAT merchandise, but I mean, this is just high quality stuff. We've got a lovely picture of me in Waxies up in London. We've got the Go, and also, I mean, this is going to be some serious skill. Look at the him. You probably can't. That is a screenshot of the Play Cricket leaderboard where I am at the top. So is there a market, do you think, for Big Mac GOAT merchandise over in Australia? Because it's not sold in England, I'm not going to lie.
No, well, he has got some for it. He finds it a bit embarrassing. Actually, he doesn't really, he hates the nickname, but I think he's learnt to embrace it now. It was only, he went past Hugh Trumbull, and that's when he became the greatest off spinner, but obviously he's still a long way behind Shane Warne. But yeah, Shane Warne, McGrath, and now Nathan, which just blows your mind to think that he, you know, some of the players that he's gone past, Mitchell Johnson, Brett Lee, Dennis Lilly, you know, it's just, yeah, incredible to think. And he's been lucky, you know, he's played in an era with some really good fast bowlers. He's been able to hold up an end, you know, and I think he's just obviously got better the longer he's been there. They still give him grief about being nervous a lot, but yeah, it has been cool to watch his ride, and yeah, but no, I like that Big Mac. I think yeah, there could be something there. You need to get them made for all the boys. I want to see Chris Watts in one of those.
You can wear mine, it's big enough.
We could all fit in yours, Big Mac. We could all get in at the same time.
It's like a dress. It's so big.
So the last sort of segments we do here, and how we always we wrap things up, is we do our 1 to 11. So this is where we give our guest, and Big Mac has a topic himself usually, of a 1 to 11 of players we've played with, or players currently playing the game or have played the game. So Brendan, your 1 to 11. You're following 2 very tough people, Neil Taylor and Wilkin Motor, but we think this is going to be another good team. So 1 to 11 of players your brother has got out. So we'll let you talk through it for us.
All right. Then any bowlers that he's worked over the years. But I'm starting off at the top of the order with a fellow I mentioned earlier, who I've just got the greatest respect for. I've actually missed one too, I can't believe it. Yeah, Alistair Cook would be the first one. He's got a few of these boys a few times. They haven't played together in Adelaide before they made it to the big time. They played for Prospect. That was when Joe was at the Darren Lehman Academy. So I've got Joe Root. Sachin Tendulkar, he's got him about 4 times, I think, and actually bowled him through the gate. He couldn't find it on the internet for years. They've only read that. Might have been removed test, but that was one of his prize ones. The great man Sachin. Obviously Virat, he's got Virat a lot as well, but Virat's obviously scored a lot of runs as well. VVS Laxman, got him in Adelaide. De Villiers, he hasn't got him out very much, but I reckon he's got 1 caught and bowled there. Jacques Callis. Kumar Sangakkara was his first ball in Test cricket, which was just, my phone went nuts. And, when Kumar nicked him when he was crook as a dog, Nathan, and yeah, somehow he nicked it to the first slip. The great man Ben Stokes, got him batting very low. That's probably more just his bowling there. And then I've thrown in Yunus Khan, one of the best sweepers that you'd see. I had to put 1 bowler in, so I put in Chris Martin. Nathan reckons that's the best ball he's ever bowled. He's one that bowled Chris Martin through the gate at the Gabba early on in his career. And I've just realised I've left KP off there, so KP better carry the drinks, I suppose. But obviously them out as well. You know, you mightn't take massive bags, but yeah. So that's my 1 to 12.
I think you mentioned Ben Stokes there. Well, we'll go back to Leeds. How out was Ben Stokes of that LBW decision? We can talk about it now.
Oh, well, obviously not out. Big Joel sort of said, you know, not out. But obviously, if Australia hadn't have used their review in the over before, then that probably would have been a totally different story. But yeah, in the end, they had their chances to win Australia, and obviously Nathan had a couple of really big chances there. But I guess it's how you respond to it. United cricket, you know, has been touted as that, and the way he played, he's sweeping him out of the rough, reverse sweeping him out of the rough for 6. Like, just couldn't script it. And as I said to you, no one thought that they'd do that, you know. And I still thought that, you know, obviously Jack Leach, what a terrific story for him too. You know, great defence, but he's obviously a really good player, a really good person as well. I heard about him still paying his fees and stuff when he goes back and plays wherever he plays down south.
In Somerset, yeah.
Not lucky, but he's obviously a terrific player. So yeah, no, Ben Stokes, that was something I'll never forget. But then it's probably not known, but he there at Old Trafford when he nicked it, he walked, you know, which is you don't see that very often, but he did the same. So
well, Stuart Broad doesn't walk, does he? So.
But no, it was an amazing couple of weeks. Manchester, you guys will appreciate this. A lot of people I've spoken to haven't, but I actually got to spend half the day watching the cricket up there with Tim Cahill, which just he and I and another bloke, and that was it. I met all these cricket people, which I'm very lucky. Just about the highlight. It's a funny story though. At the end of that test match they won in Manchester, Justin Langer, I was in the foyer of the hotel and we were having a few beers and he said, "Come on, you come with me." And I said, "Oh, it's okay, Justin." He said, "No, come on." So I jumped in a cab with him and Ian Healy and a couple of other guys. We went to this place where it was quiet Monday night in Manchester. It was some beautiful bar upstairs, and it turns out Ricky Hatton joined us there, and I didn't realise who they were. The guy with his deepest Manc accent was trying to explain to me who was coming up there, and I thought he said someone from the regatta. I didn't even realise until it was Ricky Hatton that walked in. So that was pretty cool, and I spent the whole night talking to Marnus, who's my favourite, apart from Nathan, and Steve Waugh, which was it's just a pretty cool time.
I'm back now. Yeah, I heard we got up until Marnus and Steve Waugh, and then my internet lagged out again. This is Brendan. This is just you. I'm going to say, because this hasn't been this bad before, so I'm going to blame you for this one.
Well, it is a long way from home for you, isn't it? Further up, closer to you, he's in the Central Coast.
Yes, he is. That's slightly closer, isn't he? So we go, Big Mac. Are we going on to your 1 to 11 now? You've kept this one secret from me.
Yeah, I know. I'm enjoying the secrecy. It's quite nice. I can do if you're ready for it.
Yeah, we might as well. Might as well do your 1 to 11.
So it's the team is in the jungle, the mighty jungle. The lion sleeps tonight. 11. I've picked 11 of the laziest people I could think of. Not necessarily just lazy, but also some other little bits as well. But I will explain. My opening pair are in two. We've got people that love a snooze. We've got Pabs, renowned for a little sleep, And number 2, he loves festering in his pit. I've got Alex Watts, Rat. At 3, 4, and 5, I'm going to put them together because they're in there mainly because they are just lazy in life, I would say. Hayden, Page, Stringer. Pagey, I mean, I speak to Leslie about the amount of times he's got free Ubers off him because he can't bother to get his phone out and open the app. Hayden and Stringer are incredibly lazy individuals. 6, I've got Rodders. He's come up in a few teams. He spends 4 hours in the shower because he's lazy. I've got Yammer at 7. Another one off the field and even on it sometimes. Bit lackadaisical, should we say. At 8, he won't be happy he's in here. Ben Clarkson, again, fielding.
Horizontal club.
He's in there. He's a vertical club founding member, I would say. At 9 and 10, this person wasn't in my team before the start of this podcast, but some stats came out and I had to put him in. Brendan, you slipped in the team because of your running between the wickets with your 6 runouts. And I've put you in with George Smith, who is another one between the wickets, can be a bit slow at times.
Can I just clarify that in the 6 years I played after, I got run out twice. That was it.
Well, this is based on your OCC stats, so you're in.
I don't know if that's my running between the wickets or the Englishman I was batting with. 5 of which weren't my calls. I'm happy to let Chris Watts know that.
I'm sure he'll come back
been
and
run out
fact check
by
you at
Chris
some
Watts.
point.
All been run out by
My number 11 is someone who's very, very dear to me. Plays in the fours with me on a regular basis. The reason he's in there is because he's invented his own fielding position. It is Moff. Whenever Moff is at long on the top pitch, he gets a chair and sits on the boundary instead of standing there because, I mean, it can only be laziness. So Moff rounds off the 11 and thus brings the In the Jungle, the Mighty Jungle, the Lion Sleeps Tonight, Lazy 11 to a close.
That's a brilliant name. I think that could be the name of the podcast. In the Jungle, the Mighty Jungle, the Lion Sleeps Tonight. Brendan, it has been
Catching up with you. My headphones have now died, so I believe this has just not gone well, is it? I apologise for the lack of internet connection that I seemingly have. But Brendan, thank you very much for joining in with us. We absolutely love speaking to you. And look, if you're ever over Orpington or Kentway, I'm sure we can arrange a beer, etc. The guys would love.
And a shirt. We'll get you a shirt as well. You know, you can.
That'd be good. Is it Big Moat? What was it?
Big Mac. It's the goat at the bottom. It's it's nice.
No,
High quality as well.
It.
Look at that.
No, boys, thank you so much for having me on. It's hi to all at the OCC there. It was wonderful, as I said, wonderful year that I had over there, and I visited once when I moved back over there the next year, but I was teaching in London. So, yeah, great family club, and yeah, plenty of really good memories. So I hope all's well. You all stay safe over there. We're all thinking of you over here, and yeah, hopefully life can get back to normal ASAP, and you guys can get your season on. But if not, yeah, all the best next time you're out there, and thanks again for having me. Catch you soon.
Thanks for coming on.
Cheers, Brendan. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Bye.